Yay! Oh my God. Okay, y'all. Oh my God. I'm so happy. Okay. I don't even know where to start. I do know where to start, but I'm just trying to like calm my nerves right now because I'm so excited. I've been waiting on this day to come since last week. I reached out to my friend, and everybody has been talking about him, and I was like, oh, I know him. If you've seen the new Geico commercial, if you've been to any party in your life, you've heard of him, you've heard of his music. But we're going to be talking to somebody very special today. I am not I'm not one of the people that's like wasting time trying to wait for people to come in and talk, because if you're looking at the replay, you don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to introduce myself in the podcast. So my name is Sayuri Smith-Timmons. I am a peer support specialist, but I used to be an exotic dancer. And a lot of y'all know that I wrote books, scriptures for strippers, scriptures for ex-strippers. And I talk to people about, the transition from the club to another life, and it's not about judging nobody, putting nobody down, telling somebody what they need to be doing, what they should have been doing, and all of that type of stuff. It's just that at some point, when you do that, it's just time to do something else. And I am so excited today because we're going to get to hear from another person who has transitioned from that same place. But, and the thing about it is, I was just reflecting on like what I would plan to talk to him about. And I just was reflecting on the fact of how people try to change the narrative of people when they're talking to them. A lot of people ask me questions like, so did you have a pimp? Did you, were you forced? Were you coerced? Or, what did you think it was? And who tricked you? I'm so glad that I'm going to have somebody that can corroborate my story, because a lot of people don't believe that I was excited about being a dancer. When I came every day, I was excited. And I tell y'all that. I told you before that I loved it. I aspired to be a dancer. And actually listening to this person's music, I had dance routines on this man's song when I was a kid, right? And so when I met him, I was so excited. And I finally got to meet him. I got to work with him. When I started working in Major City, he was my DJ. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about it, because I don't want to be, y'all have heard me talk about it before. But before I introduce him, I'm going to play something. And I want y'all to look at this, so y'all can see what I'm talking about.
Was number one in 1993 and synonymous with your Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Here to perform it live, please welcome Tag Team!
Our next guest has probably created more fun and excitement with their latest single than any other recording this year. You probably hear it at every good party you go to. The song on the Bellmark label is entitled Whoop. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, give them some love. It's Tag Team.
This is Tag Team. Party people!
All right. Oh my God. Okay, so I did enough dancing, and y'all know who it is. This is DC, the Brain Supreme from Tag Team. Y'all clap y'all hands. I can't see you, but clap anyway. Here he comes. Yay! DC, the Brain Supreme Tag Team.
If y'all knew how awkward this was, I've known this person since she was a very young lady, so this is so awkward.
No, this is so amazing.
Awkward. Oh my gosh. Why am I here?
You know why? I'm gonna tell you why you're here. I'm gonna tell you why you're here. Because I talk about the strip club a lot. I talk about how it was back in the day a lot, right? And I'm usually educating people. I'm usually telling somebody who wasn't there, and they have to wrap their mind around what it was like then, because it's just so different now.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I'm lying, because some people be like, and I'm like, man, whatever, man. You know, but I'm excited because I'm with somebody who was there not only when I was there, but before me. But, you know, just to be able to corroborate some stuff I've been saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm excited. And that's why it's not awkward for me. It's the opposite.
It's not awkward. It's just, you know,
Okay.
it's just a trip. Because you said about your beginning, right? And I remember this young, high energy ass girl. That's about the extent of all the cussing I'm gonna do. So don't get nervous, y'all. But she had high energy. And she was like, I'm your biggest fan, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, this girl crazy. And I just know every time she got on stage, everybody's looking at her because it was like she was dancing 100 miles an hour. It's like she would come off that stage drenched. And the only reason it was like that is because she loved booty shake. It was that simple. It was that simple. She loved booty shake so much that she had to become a dancer. And just got on the stage and would just dance. Dudes be scared to go up and give her money because they thought they was gonna get hit in the head or get some sweat thrown on them or something. But she made her money, and everybody, you know, became to respect her and love her because it was pure. You know what I mean? And that was the way it was back then. Like back then, that story is weird now because don't nobody do that. But back then, every girl did what she did. You couldn't bend over. You couldn't get on the floor. You couldn't do nothing. All you could do was booty shake. So that was your, you know, it was up to you to show and prove what you could do. So just imagine having all those girls, 100 girls in, you know, a night at the same time booty shaking. That's why Magic City was so special back in the day.
Yeah.
Because it, you know, wasn't no bending over. It was none of that. It was all about, can you dance? Right. And you know, wasn't no touching, wasn't no nothing. Charles Walker be running around talking about Merry Christmas this, Merry Christmas that. You bent over just a little bit, right?
Merry Christmas, man, you got to find. That's what that means.
That's right. I'm sorry. See, like Sayuri is my translator.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I started Magic City in 1989, and I actually started as the cook. And I think I cooked 2 salads and ordered chicken wings.
Okay.
And the DJ came to me, was like, hey man, I gotta go run some errands. Now, can you DJ for me? Because Matt's like, you can be the cook and you can be the backup DJ. All right. And I was like, cool. And they let me on the turntables. And that first day, it was a day shift. And I just went in and heads started turning and everybody started dancing and then money was being made. And you know, we're not talking about throwing money. See, back then, that's what people don't understand either. Back then, nobody threw money. Back then, it was about the garter belt. It was about making your garter belt look like an afro, right?
Yeah.
So it was about how many, you know, dudes would go up and put $20 worth of ones afro, and the girl had to strategically place them so she would look like a boss through the garter belt. And if your garter belt looked like you had an afro on the side of your leg, you was getting paid. And I remember Goldie had 2 garter belts. So she had 2 afros on her legs, right? So she had one on one side and she just danced slow and she would pull that dollar bill over slow. Everything she did was slow. I could be playing Luke, anything by 2 Live Crew and she still be dancing slow, like it's a slow song. Right? So that's what it was about then. And I remember that by the end of the day, those girls was like, we want him. So we had the meeting that first week. That was the first week I started. We had a meeting that Sunday. We'd have a meeting every Sunday where all the girls were there and the DJs, Magic and who else ever. And it just be a free for all. Everybody just be talking over each other, but it would be fun because we get things hashed out. And Magic would make the rules for the month and then we would go on. But I'll never forget, Indigo got up and said, before we do anything, Madge, and it was Indigo and Nikki. It was like, we want him, right? And Magic's like, all right, boy, it's on you. Right. and I was head DJ ever since. And you know, it was cool because, you know, we was making money, right? And I was a different type of dude. I come from Denver in California. So I wasn't raised down here, right? So I brought a different element to the table. And just the element of respecting the girls and trying to, you know, make money for us. You know what I mean? Because that's what I was about, making this money.
Right.
And that's what we did. And we did that for a long time. And, you know, it was a great experience for me, especially back then, because we were all young. We were all having fun. It wasn't nothing about anything else but having fun. Today is different, right? Today is, I guess it was serious back then, but it was serious in just the way anything could be. It's just life, right?
You know what, DC? You know what I was thinking about? So, you know, okay, I started in 2000, okay? I was 18 years old when you met me. So I left, right? You remember I left after BMF, after the Gentleman Club closed and all that junk stuff happened. I said, let me go. And I left.
Yeah.
And so I was gone for 7 years, okay? When I came back, when I decided to go back, I went to a whole nother club, DC.
Yep.
And where was I going? Where did I go?
The Stroke.
I did. And guess who was the DJ again?
Yep.
So when I came back and you was my DJ again, it was all over again. I'm like, hey, I was so glad to see you.
Yeah,
I really was.
Strokers was it during that time, right?
Okay.
And that was best club in the city. So I've always been the best club in the city, whether it's Magic, Strokers, Atlanta Live, Club Hollywood, Cobalt Lounge, Club Autos, all of them. And that, you know, Strokers where I landed, and I was at Strokers for a while. And, you know, that was that was a different, that's when it started changing, right? That's when it started being more serious than it should have been.
Why?
And
I said, oh my, you remember I used to be in DJ booth, but you looking around, you know, like,
because it was it wasn't fun. It was a job, right? And that's the last thing you want to be your job, is stripping and DJing in a strip club. And when it becomes a job, that's when it's just like, do I even want to go in here tonight? You know what I mean? And then everybody snapping at everybody. And then, you know, people's morals started going, you know, and people start stealing from each other. People start disrespecting each other. And it's always been cutthroat. But in Magic City, we was family, right? And we would, you know, there was ways that we could resolve situations. But at other clubs, it was just like, it became a free-for-all because everything changed. And everything does change. And I'm not knocking anybody, not saying it was bad or worse or whatever. It just, things change. And if you don't adapt, you're not going to make no money, right? So it became, every time you had to adapt, it became harder to even deal with that.
But DC, what was we adapting to? What was changing and what was making the strip club change, in your opinion? And I tell you what I think.
One, it got away from, it kind of got away from fun, and then it actually turned into
it did get away from being fun. It definitely wasn't fun no more.
Yeah, it got away from being fun, and then it just turned too serious, and it just was different. You know, I don't know. It's hard to say. I know it changes, and I just always have been able to adapt to it. But I'm a DJ, right? You know what I'm saying? So my perspective is different. I'm gonna come up with a way to make money for us, no matter what, right? So it went from, you know, I think it went from the caliber of customer. It went, I mean, back in the day when I started Magic City was packed from noon to 4 a.m. and it was packed with lawyers, dentists. It was packed with a little bit of everybody, right? And then your hustlers and your ballers will come late night, but they'd be mixed in with CEOs of companies and everything. And everybody, it was controlled chaos because nobody was throwing money then. And it was respectable. You couldn't touch. But then certain, you know, what really happened is that everybody knows Atlanta is a black city, right? And at the beginning, there might have been 4 black clubs. It was Magic City, Paradise City, Blue Flame, Montrez. And that was it, right?
What year was that?
This was like, this 89, 90, 91, 92. Then Mike Childs came around and opened up Nicky's, right?
What year was that?
I think that was Nicky's was 90, 91.
Okay.
And once Nicky's opened, then he went and Paradise City closed down. Mike Childs went and got Paradise City, turned that into it was called something else. First, it was a white club, but then it turned into Gentleman's Club.
Okay.
So it was still only five or six, right? And then what happened is that they couldn't make money no more. The white clubs couldn't make money anymore. But they were like, you turn it black, you can make some money. So Goosebumps used to be white. Pinups used to be white. Strokers used to be white. Blue Flame, not Blue Flame, but on the east side, Blaze used to be white, right?
Oh yeah, Blaze. It was Blazing Saddles, and the woman had
exactly.
She had on a Confederate vest with nothing
on. Gold Rush used to be white, right?
Yeah.
Diamonds used to be white. The Body Tap Building used to be white. All those clubs used to be white.
Wow.
But around that time, they shut down all the clubs in Cobb County. So you had all those clubs that were on Cobb Parkway.
But that's what Boomers, yeah.
Yeah, that's where all those were. And then what's the one that was next to up on Beaufort Highway? I mean, think about it.
Well,
Pink Pony stayed white, but Follies was white, and then you go down, Shooter's Alley was white, and then Roosters was white.
Yeah,
so that's like 10. That's like 10 clubs that turned black, right? So
Gold Club was open, but they were very limited with black. But I worked there too.
They had three. They had a nice little squad. Let's call it that. They had a little squad.
I was about to say it was 3 of us. 3 or 4.
That's what I'm saying. Like a little squad, 5 at the most, right?
Yeah, but I said I don't remember more than 5. Yeah,
5 at the most, because you got to have that, right? And because I tried to DJ at the Gold Club, it was like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. I was like, I get you.
That DJ was terrible though.
But I'm like, but you gonna let me? But but they let me DJ at Otto's and Cobalt because the same owners, right? But they couldn't have me in Gold Club. But it's sometimes we in the South. It's like that sometimes, right? So I understood, but I'm trying to get that paper because I could have got to the Gold Club, it would have been on, right? But they knew that if I got to the Gold Club, everybody would have followed me over there, and it would have turned into a black club, and they couldn't have that. So that's that was part of it as well. But moving forward, the whole city got diluted with black clubs, right? And it wasn't just 4 or 5 where you could just make money, and you would love to go to the other side of town and didn't care because that's the only place you could go. So now it's just some of the clubs are getting nasty. Some of the clubs are doing this. Some of the clubs are doing that. And it's just kind of been a breakdown. And things change. And if you don't adapt, you're not going to survive. And that was a little bit too much for you. I remember it used to stress you. It used to stress you out. I've seen you melt down a couple times. Okay, don't front. I've seen that young lady melt down a couple of times, right? So, but it was stressful.
Why was I melting? Tell them why I was melting.
Because the sheer level of ignorance and the stuff you had to go through just to make a little bit of money.
I can't.
Just to make a little bit of money, or just to make back your bar fee, or just to make back, you know what I mean? It was just it wasn't worth it.
It was too much.
It was too much.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I think that because I was there before Bush went to war, before 9/11, right? So for me, and it was funny because ever since I started dancing, all the people that was there before always say, "This ain't no money. This ain't no money. It used to be more money." Like you just keep hearing that, right? It used to be more money. It used to be more money. And then you see the old school girls leave. And it wasn't because they couldn't dance. It wasn't because they couldn't get no money. It's just because, in their opinion, they have seen better days, right? Yeah. So when I remember when Bush went to war, and it was like the recession, you know what I mean? Like everybody was scared to spend their money, and people wasn't coming. That's when the rules start changing. That's when the clubs start adapting and letting people do whatever they want to do because they were just so happy somebody finally started by spending money. And it was kind of like the touch and go policy kind of got lax. Because I remember, I love that big sign over your DJ booth. Touch and go policy. If you touch, you go. I used to point at it all day. But, and then also when everybody from all these other places start coming here. And like all the girls from all these different places start bringing whatever they do, wherever they're from. And it's like, what are you doing? Why? it's not necessary for you to do. You can get money, but you ain't got. It don't take all that here. If you know how to dance, but they don't know how to dance though.
But you got to understand that it's not up to them to adapt. It's up to you to adapt, right?
Oh, I did. Like, I left.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're gonna stay in that game, you gotta adapt with whatever happens because it always changes, right? And that's in life. You know what I mean? You can't. You think about the pandemic. If you didn't adapt to the pandemic, and if you're sitting around waiting for it to come back the way it used to be, you're gonna be sitting around waiting for it to come back the way it used to be. Yeah. And this is the time to reinvent yourself and do everything you ever dreamed of because it's a whole new frontier out there.
Let me talk to these people about who all these different things that you was. Okay, you was in that DJing. Okay, we was tipping you for that. You was getting paid from the club, I guess. You was getting money. Let me just show you the hustle muscle of this man right here. So he DJing. This man making plates at home. Wrapping them, they in the plastic little to-go thing, wrapped up in saran wrap in the DJ booth, in these big giant things keeping them hot. My favorite was the beef tips and rice. Thank you. Oh, that was so good. $10 a plate. I mean, you could not beat that with a bat because the food was crazy. He would make something different every day. This man was selling mixtape, DVDs, CDs. What else was you selling? What else was you doing? Oh,
straight up swap. Remember, I go to New York, get all them knockoffs, come back with 5 bags of knockoffs, just throw them on the floor, and everybody just jump into them, be swimming in them.
Right.
That's knockoff Chanel costumes, Chanel earrings, all that stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever could be sold.
I remember.
One year. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm about to say. I remember one time. Okay, wait. When the R. Kelly tape came out. I said, "How did this man get that?"
Hey, boy, I went gold on the R. Kelly tape.
VHS tapes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And 1 year Magic City.
Yep.
1 year Magic City. The air conditioner broke. I think it was like 2000. And I went and got dry ice and filled that thing up, filled that cooler up with bomb pops and ice cream sandwiches. And it came up, right? Because they didn't want to fix the air conditioner the whole summer. I saw ice cream the whole summer. Ice cream, popsicles, whatever. And then what else? Then they start doing clothes, t-shirts, start selling weave, whatever I could get in New York for $1 and come back and sell it for 20 in Atlanta. Because, in a strip club, it's just ready-made cash, and strip club people aren't fiscally responsible. So if a girl made $300 a night, I was going to get at least 70 of that money in one way or the other, whether it was a tip, whether it was she bought a purse, whether she bought a plate, she bought Sunday. Like Saturday night was the biggest night for me because everybody would buy 4 plates for their whole family for dinner the next night. And they just warm it up. Like dudes to this day run up on me like, "Hey man, I used to mess with such and such back in the days. You used to bring home your plates, man. You cook your ass off, dog."
Hey, but you did, and you know what? I remember when I talked to you after I had quit. I think I quit the second time. I did end up going back, but I went somewhere else. But we both were on a hiatus. We had both left, and you was talking about putting your food in the frozen food section. Do you know I've been looking for your food in the frozen food section?
I tried it. Hey, I tried it too, but it was but once I learned what it would take, it couldn't be done the way I wanted to do it. Like it couldn't be done the way I used to bring plates to the club.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, everything has to be from scratch, which it was, but everything has to be in smaller proportions. Everything has to be everything would have been different. I used to go to conventions, but so I went to frozen food conventions. I did my research, right?
Okay.
And it wasn't feasible for me to do that, right? Nope. Because that's why frozen food is the way frozen food is, because it's hard to do, because you have to put all kind of chemicals and all kind of stuff like that just to have it keep. And then, once you get to it, it's not
like the preservatives and stuff.
Yeah, the preservatives and all that. And it's just that it was just too much. And it's like, I want to cook turkey wings and dressing, but I can't do that. They're not gonna be able to do that with frozen soul food unless I put it in my freezer and say, "Come on, get these frozen food plates." Like it wasn't gonna be able to be like that. And most people who do frozen food would do just like one of my mentors. He did Mary B's biscuits, and all he had was biscuits. And he made $20 million a year just selling biscuits. He had one thing he sold. They was little hockey pucks. You throw them on a pan and throw them in the oven, and you got biscuits. Wow. Like something that's how that game works, right? Okay. So then, you know, once you get bigger and higher up, you can adventure out and do different things. But, you know, for me, that was too much because I still had to work, right? So then I was like, okay, how can I do this out the crib, right? But then you got to get a craft. You got to get a license to do that. Then you got to pass all kind of inspections and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not about to do that to just sell some plates. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm getting money.
When you've been selling plates and get money already.
Yeah. So everything. All my hustles were revolved around the fact that there was always cash in the club, right? So I'm going to get the money, period. And I always try to teach everybody. I've always tried to teach everybody that come across my path how to get money, right? Whether it's, you know, your hair ain't right, you ain't gonna get no money. You know what I mean? Or this ain't right, you ain't gonna get no money. If you want to get money, you need to do this. So, you don't have to custom dudes out. You play the game with them. You know what I mean? Like just always being positive, right?
Yes.
And it helped. You know what I mean? And it never was about me. It was always about the girls. And that's the mistake every DJ made. Every DJ made that mistake because a dude could run up there and be like, "Hey man, I got $100 for you to play this record." They play the record. Wow. And the girls looking at him like, "What the heck is you doing?" Right? But I'd be like, "Nah." And you can ask everybody, DC don't take money. I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good." They're like, "Man," but I was like, if they ask me nicely, I'll pay the record. But then it was like, but if you want me to play a record, take that $100 you was gonna give me and throw it on the stage.
See,
because
let me stop you right here. Because that part right there is what I feel like all the rest of the DJ, it feel like the DJs start trying to, and the clubs start trying to take the women out of the equation. That's when it started going downhill too. Because there was no respect and there was no looking out for the females, making sure that we got paid, we got respect, and we had a craft to respect. When you go into the comedy club, there's a little piece of paper on the table. No heckling. It tells you the rules. It tells you what to do. You will get put out. You cannot disrespect the people that's coming here to entertain you. And that's how, at first, that's how Magic City was. And that's why I was spoiled. Like when I went other places, I'm like, oh my God, like, oh child. And everybody thought that Magic City Girls was bougie. And I guess that's why, because we had rules that we adhered to and that we kept, and that's how we kept everything straight. Is to adhere to rules, to respect ourselves and respect the customers and get paid. And nobody was worried because we was all just making it. But it seemed like when the guys started coming in, we started having industry night. We started having all of these things where the girls was getting out of the equation because the DJs just taking money from these dudes who want to perform and want to record themselves on the stage. The girls they pay all of their money to the DJ. Okay, they don't have no more money left to throw on the girl, but they want the girl to dance in the background. They want you to sign a paper saying that, yeah, I can, I'll give you permission to use my image and all that, but you ain't gave nobody nothing. You know what I mean? And then, but for you to say that you, as the DJ, did not allow that to happen, that just lets me know that right there is kind of where a disconnect came into all the rest of the other clubs, because it literally turned into a free-for-all. When all of these people who felt like they had a good song that they was trying to get played on the radio, when the word got out that, songs breaking the strip club, well, let me go to the strip club and get my song played. They don't even think about making sure that the girls get paid, because guess what? We're the ones that requested the song to be played for our set so that it can be played over and over and get out. But it's like some people caught on to that. But that is such a good point for you to bring up. Can you talk about when people started trying to break music in the club? Or not trying to. They did break the music in the club.
No, not really.
Not really?
Think about it. Okay, so let me finish this last point. I'll go to the breaking records thing.
Okay.
So for me, it's a calculation, right? I get $100 now, but then that girl's looking at me like I'm crazy, and then she never tipped me right ever again. But if I give her that $100, not only am I providing juice for the club to get everybody else in the club involved, right? But I'm also showing her that I cared enough to give her the money. And now she's going to give me that money. Plus, on the nights that she don't make money, she's still going to give me money because I put in effort, right? It's just about
you showed loyalty to her.
It's not even loyalty. It's not
that
even
is loyalty.
It is, but it's not. It's about setting the scene, right? Like right now, my goal is for the people that can make decisions for you, or the people that can put you in a bigger decision or higher position. It's not about anything else but me getting in front of them and them seeing me hustle, right? If I work at a club, it ain't nothing about, all right, the club owner's supposed to come here. It ain't nothing about him looking at me on a ladder changing light bulbs. You gotta let them see you hustle, right?
Yeah.
So if I let the girl see that, hey, he could have kept that $100, but he gave it to me, that means something, right? Now, I've done that with girls I don't like, right? But there's more to it than that. I know that I've won that girl over now, and she might not like me, but she's still gonna pay me. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? There's so many different tentacles that there's so many ways to make money. So that's why, like, you can't really harp on why something isn't the way it used to be, because everything changes, and it's up to you to be thinking ahead to be able to do that. Now, I don't know if you could do that, but a lot of girls do that, but it ain't for everybody, right? Because there were reasons that it was that way and it was comfortable at Magic City, right? Because it didn't necessarily, that's how you keep your club open. Magic City had a lot of scrutiny on them. So they could have shut them down for anything that they wanted to do. So that's why they had the no touching and all that stuff like that. But then that's how you kind of keep control too. But as soon as the iPhone came out, all that was over, because then it was everybody sneaking. Then it was everybody trying to sneak it. It was okay. Well, you can just keep it in your pocket. And then it's just like, well, and then now it's just wide open, right? And that was inevitable. It was going to happen because technology made it possible. Right. All these things change. And sometimes you just got to know when to bow out. Right. You can't do it. This ain't something you could do forever. Right. Like for me, I don't want to be a 50-year-old DJ. Never did. And it became not worth it to fight off all these young dudes who was trying to take my job. Not that they was going to be able to do it, but just the competition of being a DJ. And then the quality of DJing went down. So the reason I always got paid is because I was more than a DJ.
Right.
I'm making flyers. I'm making TV commercials. I'm doing all the marketing. I'm doing everything that I could do to have 6 streams of income. I had health insurance. Terry gave me health insurance as strokers.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? When have you heard of a strip club DJ having health insurance? Right. And gave me money and just whatever.
Wow. Well, I remember when you was the photographer, like you was a good photographer. Like you be good at what you do. Like when you know what you're doing.
See, that goes back to the whole self-help thing. It's called getting in the corridor. So like if you want to have a pie company, you should go work at a pie shop so you can see how a pie company runs or what's involved in making pies on a mass scale. Right. So I said, since I'm working at this club, let me do the marketing. Yeah, and I put together. I've always done market. I mean, even back in Magic City days, I did a calendar way back in the day. I used to take pictures way back in the day. Like I've got an archive. I've got an archive of the whole strip club story of Atlanta.
Wow.
And nobody can see it but me because nobody needs to see it, right?
Right.
And everybody knows that if there's an article or something like that about Magic City, it's like you need to talk to DC. Because I'm gonna dispel all the myths. I'm gonna tell people the truth, and everybody's gonna look at it and say, they know I'm telling the truth because I was there in the middle of it, right? Right. You can't deny that, and I don't embellish that stuff. So it's like, why am I gonna lie about it when I was there? And not only was I there, I got pictures. So if you want to buck on me talking about some stuff didn't happen, I'm like, blah, this is what happened. You see her right there. You see her right there, right? Who
was the most famous person you seen in Magic City?
Everybody. I mean, come on now. So you got everybody, all the Falcons, Dion, Dominique, everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. There is Magic John. Everybody. They all came there. That's why it was so beneficial for it. And that goes back to breaking records, right? Mm-hmm. So back in the day, this is like 19, like 1990.
Uh-huh.
I remember that, you know, that was back when we only had vinyl, right? And
Okay.
every region had a representative, and the record representative's job was to hit the radio stations and hit the clubs and make sure the DJs had the records, right?
Okay.
And you know, they would just drop them off. You know, and one cat, his name is Doug Craig. He worked for Epic, and before that, I think he worked at A&M. And he bought, you know, and I knew everybody, but you know, they just come and, you know, we have a conversation and they leave. But Doug was like, I really want to see what this record can do, because I believe in this record. It was Candyman. It was Candyman, right? And yeah, the name of I think the name of the artist was Candyman. I can't remember the name of the record, but I was like, all right, I'll be back in a week. You tell me if anything, you see anything. So I you know, I know what to do, right? And he came back in a week and he was like, so what you think about that record? I was like, hold on. I was like, Candy, come here. What you think about that Candy record? Oh man, I love that record. I was like, you going on stage, all right? So he's sitting, he's watching me set it up. Candy goes on the stage, and then all of a sudden, everybody starts tipping her because she's crunk to this record, right?
Okay.
And he's watching it, and then now he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. And I said, not only does she like it, there's 3 other girls that like it, so I'm playing it 8 times a night because each girl goes on stage twice. That's radio play. So now he goes to his report, goes back to his higher ups in New York and LA and tells them, yo, this Candyman record is about to blow. It's like, you lying, Doug. He bought them down 2 weeks later. Same thing happened. They saw it. Then they put money behind that record, and that record became a hit record, right? Oh. That's the simplest form of it. And it started back then. And I did that. I ended up doing that for every record rep. It wasn't about it was going to be played here or going to be played on the radio or going to be played there or by other DJs. It was about the record reps being able to go back to New York and LA and say, hey, DC tested this. We got something. Wow. Right. And then that's how it started. And that's how everybody wanted to sign me for Whoop, because I played it the day we got out of the studio on a cassette and was like, what is that? And everybody was like, yo, you know, they were playing around though. They didn't know what to do with the music down here. So I've been doing this forever. So my way of breaking records has always been different because I've always done it through the girls. Right. If you got a girl that believes in a record, she's gonna dance to it organically 2-3 times a night. And if she's dancing to it organically 2-3 times a night, it's real. And everybody else is gonna end up liking that record, you know, because of it. But because but if it's forced and the girl's on the stage cussing you out because the record's being played, that don't do nothing but expose the record that you paid the DJ to play the record, and your record ain't doing what it's supposed to do.
We don't like it.
And what purpose does that serve, right? You know what I mean? What purpose does that? But as an artist, I understand it feels good to hear your record in the club. It's kind of like hearing your record on the radio. It's like you feel like you've made it. So you're going against forces that you can't control because nobody was taught this is how you do it. Everybody comes up in their own way. And if they don't know this is how they do it, then you can't really be upset with them for doing it the way they know how or trying to create a way they know how. But because they don't know.
But see, now DC, I remember the industry nights, like the clubs got so desperate because nobody was coming. And then they like turn it into like, okay, it's industry night. You know what I mean? So now we're a regular club. Now we full of like when I'm walking.
That was gonna happen anyway.
I get that, but I'm gonna tell you, like one of the days that I had my biggest breakdown, come running in the DJ booth about to choke slam somebody, and you had to talk me back down.
Blew a gasket.
Huh?
Blew a gasket.
Oh my God! But it's because you got a club full of people that's coming there. It's like American Idol. You know what I mean? Like everybody acting like they standing in line. They're literally just in there waiting for their turn, and they act like you getting on their nerves for asking them for a dance. That you and they, you know, what? No, I'm good. I don't want no dance. Go ahead. It's like, wait a minute. You came in a strip club. Like, do you know what this is? They come in there for their motive and their purposes, and they're like, you know, I paid my money to, you know what I mean? But you wasn't there that night. It was another DJ. It was Skeeter and Chow. when the dude throw the champagne bottle at the DJ booth because his CD was skipping.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like he mad, and it's like it's not even about y'all. It's not, and it's like you brought 40 people to get on stage. This is somebody's set. This is somebody we work here. You know what I'm saying? So, but you brought all your folks here to get on stage with you so that y'all can do and all that. You know, go live or record or go be on Facebook or whatever. Now, y'all don't respect this craft. Y'all want us to respect your craft, and this song is lame.
Yeah.
Okay. And you lying. You ain't shot nothing. You ain't sold nothing. You ain't been to jail.
But you focusing on the wrong thing.
What am I focusing on the wrong thing? How am I focusing on the wrong thing? When y'all in the strip club, y'all came in here.
But you're not. You have to acknowledge the fact that things change for a reason.
It did.
The reason that started happening because it worked at another club and another club and another club.
But who did it work for?
So you got to do it, right?
But who did it work for? It didn't work for the girl.
I know, but see, it ain't about the girls no more.
See, that's the problem.
But it's always been about the girls with me. But I know how to finesse it like that. Everybody else don't. So if they don't know, you can't get mad at them about not knowing. They weren't around. They weren't exactly. See, they weren't around back in the days of Magic City. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I'm doing a podcast.
It's just selfish, DC.
No, it's not selfish. It's not selfish, right? Things change and you gotta adapt, right? That's why you gotta have 6 hustles in the hole, because one hustle might get diluted. Think about it. When I was cooking, right?
Yeah.
Then everybody started cooking. Then that diluted my hustle. But I had 5 other hustles in the hole. So I'm still good because next hustle up, let's go.
Right.
And I'm still making money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Now, so that is the mentality you have to have. And that's the only way it's going to work. You can't depend. Ain't nobody going to do nothing for you. You know that. And it ain't their obligation to do anything for you.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying back in the day. I forgot what I was going to say, boy. And it was good too. It was no. Because I do these podcasts all the time. I do 4 or 5 podcasts a day, right? Like I've done 3 today, and they're different. And the reason I do so many podcasts and do so many interviews is because I want to be prepared for anything. I want to be thrown for any curveball. So when somebody throws me a curveball question, I know how to handle it because I practice it. Right? I don't get mad at them for throwing me the curveball question. I take the curveball and be like, okay, boom, 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 boom. That takes practice, right? So for me, you have to be able to adapt. And if you can't adapt, you're gonna die. Period. And listen to me now. This is good. So, I get these old school hip hop cats that do podcasts. And they'd be like, DC, why can't we go back to the 90s, man, when music was music and what these young kids done to hip hop and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. I said, first thing, you can't hate on young people for being young. Because you just look old and bitter, right?
Right, you do.
This ain't for you. This ain't for you no more, right?
Right.
Second of all, like I said, they don't know. They wasn't born when we was doing what we was doing, or they was little babies. So how are they going to know that you want them to pay homage to you and respect hip hop, and nobody makes hip hop anymore like that but you? You see what I'm saying? You the only one that make hip hop like that's not hip hop to them.
Right.
They're doing the best they can. I said, okay, with perfect here. You came up in the 80s and the 90s like I did. Did you go to Little Richard and Fast Domino, and was you trying to make music like Chubby Checker? No. We're trying to make music like them. So why you expect these young kids to make music like you? You wasn't even searching for them to thank them or none of that. You was doing your own hip hop, right? It ain't up to them to search us out and say, "Oh hell, mighty who," because you guys did hip hop good back in the day. They don't even know. The only way they're gonna know is if they heard their parents riding to it, and that's why we like Lenny Williams. That's why we like Al Green. That's why we like a lot of them records, because people we knew used to rock to them records. But are we trying to make Lenny Williams or Al Green any of them records? No. Right. But we respect those records, but you don't hear them pissed off at us because we done messed up the old slow jams. You don't hear that. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
you can't do that, because to me, it's all wasted energy.
Right.
And I have acquired the ability over my lifetime
Mm-hmm.
to take all negative, especially from working in the strip clubs, to take all negative energy, all negative emotions, hate, envy, disgust, despair, sadness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anger, fear, and channel that into positive fuel to keep my hustles popping, right? It's that's all it is. It's like you don't let people see you react, right? You just put it in your pocket. Think about, there's been a lot of people that diss me. Well, why do you think I survived in the strip club for 25 years? Because I take it, put it in my pocket, and I use it as full. Oh, you want to take my job? Okay. And not only are you trying to take my job, I'm going to help you take my job. I'm going to tell you what to do. But because of your hubris, you're going to be like, nah, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm giving you the game. I'm telling you how to take my job. They ain't even listening to me. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
I already know what to do.
Right.
This is how you do it. I tell every DJ that they bring in a DJ just to mess with me or whatever. And I'd be like, hey, bro, this ain't about DJing. This is about the girls. They were like, I got this dude. I DJ'd here. I DJ'd there. It's like, yeah, but I'm just telling you, you make the girls love you, you're going to make more money than you've ever made. And it's like, man, I ain't listening to this dude. And they never could come up. Ever. The only DJ that's ever even came close and probably did surpass me in a way, because I just didn't have it in me no more, is Nando. But Nando started with me.
Right. I was about to say, I remember when he was.
Nando was the bar back. And Nando used to watch. I know Nando since he was a kid. Yeah, I know Nando when he was putting in car stereos. You see what I'm saying? I known him at long, right? So he watched me, and I can say this because that was my brother. We worked arm in arm together. You know what I mean? We fought. We was battling each other, but Nando watched me.
Yes,
he watched me change all them lights. He watched me change the sound system.
He watched everything.
He watched everything.
Yes.
And then he took it and did it his own way.
He was hanging out in the dressing room too.
Yeah,
he was like if you told him to get up under the girls, he definitely did that.
Yeah, and that's how you win arguments. That's how you impose your will upon people, right? You sow those seeds of doubt or whatever. And my dressing room days was over. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't about to be sitting in the dressing room no more. I don't have to do that. Right. And the dressing room is the most important part of the whole game. And because you know what the girls are thinking, you know how they feeling. But I let him have it because I was about to get strokers. So you can have Magic City. Because Magic City was too much back then. It wasn't no money, and strokers was like the holy grail of it all. Okay. And I got hired as strokers and didn't look back. And I rolled out of strokers and made more money than any club I ever worked in my life, because I had 6 streams of income and doing the same thing. And Nando did the same thing with Onyx, right? He was at Magic City, but it wasn't going to work because Magic's there. Magic don't play that. He don't care about no Magic. You are, everybody is, Magic is fair, but everybody is, you ain't about to buck on him, and they ain't about to be like that. It ain't about you with Magic. And if you don't realize that, you're not going to be there. But then he got Onyx, right?
I remember.
And Onyx, there was nobody that could touch him in Onyx because he bought in the system. He did the lights. He had the girls in costume. He made his own brand. He started doing all the marketing. They gave him a night. Once they gave him a night, he made it hot. Ain't nobody ever did that, right? Yeah. And I told him, I said, hey, dude, I got to give it to you. I said, you won, right? He was like, you tripping. I said, DC, ain't nobody going to ever do what you've done. And he's like, dude, you got the single, dog. I'm trying to get where you at. I'm like, dude, I'm talking about the strip club, man. He said, man, dude, he would tell people, he's like, this is the man that taught me the game.
Yes.
Not how to DJ, not how to DJ, but he taught me the game, right? And teaching somebody the game is totally different because the game is everything else to get to the money. You'll never get to the money if you don't know the game.
Let me say this though, DC, and what I was getting ready to say is like a lot of ways that I am now is because of my experience in Magic City. You know what I'm saying? And like what you're explaining, like when you were talking about like when somebody do something to you, you put it in your pocket, you don't retaliate. Like I don't know if you know this, but I've never been in a fight in the club, but you know how many people's hating on me. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, especially when they seen, when I came to Struggles and they seen me dance and they were like, where you come from? And plus I looked younger than I was, but I, you know. So they're like, well, how old are you? Because, you know, when they turn the old music on, I turn up, and then when they turn the regular music on, whatever. And then it's kind of like, it was so many attacks. And because it wasn't Magic City, those girls was totally different. They was trying to like haze me and all that stuff. And I'm like, y'all don't spend y'all time getting no money? Like, wow, like, I'm going to let y'all do that.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? While they sitting at the table and I'm walking around talking to everybody.
You had got spoiled.
No, but at the same time, too, what you just said, though, is like, I'm not going to sit up here and go back and forth with you because I got stuff to do. I'm a hustler, so I'm going to get money, period. Like, you can sit up here and get mad. They was spoiled. You know what I'm saying? But staying at, like, but coming from Magic City, it taught me sitting here getting mad and folding my arms and being mad and complaining about the people who ain't got no money ain't going to give me no money. I need to get the money that's in the building. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, I need to get the money that's here. And that's what Magic City showed me. That's what we did. That's what everybody did. Nobody was fighting amongst themselves. Like the people come in, maybe they was beefing, they'll fight like customers fighting, but girls wasn't fighting each other. And it's like what you just said, you know, if I'm so busy focusing on, and it's like you saying 6 streams of income, I done introduced myself to everybody in the club when they first came in. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Struggles. You know, I know you just got here. I'm gonna get you a waitress. I'm gonna get you together, and don't worry about it. I'm gonna come back and dance later. And I'm gone. I'm not asking for no dance when I first talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming up. You want to dance one day? Ain't nobody doing that. You know what I mean? So like, I had to catch up. And like you said, like I'm not here to hustle you. I'm here to work. And so just knowing that I have to work to get what I want instead of just being like, I'm cute, I'm sexy, I'm fine, give me my money. It's
but you also have to know that when you go somewhere else, you have to factor in other things that might not be, you know, be not the same and might not be on the surface to able to be seen. Yeah. Like I knew leaving from Magic City to Strokers, there was going to be a different clientele. You weren't going to be the same people that went over. You know, Strokers is going to be the working man. So you're not going to get the ballers. If you do get the ballers, they're going to come in for a second and leave. So I knew that. So it's like, okay, I had to change my approach, right? So instead of saying, you know, where the ballers at and all that, I'm like, I changed my approach to, hey, can I get one person to put $3 on stage?
Hold on.
That's all I'm asking for. One person.
Help the children.
Help the children. Please help the children. One person. I can't get one person to put $3 on stage. I would stop the music. I can't get one person to put $3. But everybody else stopping. He was like, oh, bitch ass niggas, why can't you blah, 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 cussing, you know? And I'm like, all I need is one person to put $3 on stage. And every single time, right, there'd be at least 3 or 4 people that would come put $3 on stage. That's $12. Right. And if they see each other tipping, then everybody tips. Another one was, I'm not asking for what I say. I used to say, I'm not asking for. You
used to say, don't think about it, just do it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Don't think about it, just do it. And I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking for a little bit from everybody. Yes. Right. Yes. If everybody got up right now and gave up $1, this girl got $100 on stage.
And guess what? And then dancers will start doing it because guess what? We trying to keep the music on. If we If we dancing, you stopping my money. We, you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna throw money. Please, DC. Please. You gotta
go. So sometimes I had a verse effect. Don't be begging these dudes for no money. It's like not begging. This is the strategy. This is the strategy. Play along. And then sometimes there will always be one girl like, don't do that when I'm on stage because I'm a boss. They're going to give me my money. I was like, all right. And then they be up there looking stupid. They do it about 2-3 times. And then I'll be like, so you want me to do it now?
It's not about begging. It's like, you're entertaining.
It's about strategy.
Right.
We all in there trying to make money. It's about strategy to get, if a guy spends $3, well, okay, it's a perfect example. I started bringing my own ones to the club. I would go to the bank every day and get 4,000 worth of ones because Tracy and them would never go get no ones. And they didn't see the transition. I saw the transition from just the garter belt to people starting to throw money. right?
Yeah.
And I seen the transition of if I let everybody know I got changed in the DJ booth, then that means more ones will come out because people will spend $1 bills, $20 worth of ones as opposed to a $20 bill.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if I can keep them coming back to the DJ booth, I'm feeding the club ones, and it's up to y'all to get them ones. Right. So it's a nickel and dime strategy. But if you fill the club with ones and then we get it all back, that's a good night to me.
Right. You're right.
They left without no money. It's just about strategy. But see, everybody gets caught up in the look and I'm this and I'm that. And I'm like, look, it's about making money. I don't give a damn how you do it. We're going to get this money. What I used to say, I say, look, if my girls don't get paid, I don't get paid.
Right.
And I promise you, I'm going to get paid. Period. I'm going to get paid. So y'all might as well go and spend some money.
Right.
Because I'm going to get my money. I'm going to get my money one way or the other.
Right.
So y'all can be hard right now, but I'm going to break you down in liquid form, and we're going to get. Then I'm going to really tax you. I'm going to get all your money. I'm going to get your money.
When you start playing jazz, they like you. They didn't even know you had that in there. It's like,
hey, but you know, hey, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's about we there for a reason. So when you get caught up in everything else, it's hard to you're losing sight of why you're there, right? Yeah. And look, it is easier said than done, right? Because y'all out on the floor butt naked, and I'm in the DJ booth, okay? And I'm driving the bus and I'm secure, but y'all out there with the wolves, right? So I understand, but I'm trying to make it more conducive to y'all, so because I can make it a party. Then it ain't gonna be all that touching and everything. Everybody's having such a good time. It ain't gonna be all that extra stuff. But when it's boring and everybody's just in there, then it's just like people just going crazy.
They get aggressive.
And then just a guy might just brush the side of your leg. You ready to bust them in the mouth because the atmosphere ain't there. Right. I tell you, if it was Crunk and he brushed you on the side of your leg, you'd be like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We partying. Boom, boom, boom. He ain't even trying nothing. He's just like, hey, right. It's all in controlling your emotions and not letting them see you sweat. And I was trying to get everybody to buy into that, but it's just like, you got to remember where we're at.
Right. And then you got people drinking.
You have so many factors that, that you have no control. All I got control over is what I do. Right. So I'm going to do me. I'm going to try to make us this money. I'm going to have a candy bucket full of candy. I'm going to have the DJ booth is going to be a safe place. If y'all need to get away, come up here. I'm going to be spitting game to you, and I'm going to be making you feel better. And I'm going to teach you something, and I'm going to be your leader, right? Because we here to get money, and I can show y'all how to get money. I can show y'all how to be ladies. I can show y'all how to get money out of dudes. I can show you what works, what don't work, because I've been in the dressing room for 30 years. I know what not to do.
I think one of the other things too is like you wasn't trying to get with us. Like that was the other thing. Like so many other DJs would like be trying to get with the girl. I'm like, hello, like you can't. That's not
because that's my money. What's the first rule of hustling? Do not get high on your own supply.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So what I look like, and then they don't even understand that when you have relations with a girl in a strip club. You don't basically knock your money down 30 to 40% because there's 30 to 40% of the girls hate the fact that girl's even with you or even getting attention from you. And they want attention, might not even like you, but the fact they get attention and just all the little petty stuff that can happens when that happens. So you're killing your money 30 to 40%. So you better love that girl, right? Because you're not about to make no money. And that was rare for that to happen with me. If I was messing with somebody, you never knew. And I was never going to try y'all, right? Yeah. Everybody trying me more than I'm trying them because I ain't trying them.
Right.
That's the game, right? It's like, hey, the best way to have sex with a woman, don't want none. Best way. You don't want none, and you like, no, I ain't about it. Then all of a sudden, it's going to be like a cat running around your leg and right around. And next thing they're doing stuff. They're doing stuff like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how it happens.
But you know what? That's the thing about it was like, just making women feel comfortable. Like a lot of people are uncomfortable with being comfortable. Like they like that. It translates to something else. Like they don't even know how to be close to a man. But I just want to say I really appreciate you for always being there for me and always allowing me to come in and just reminisce and let me vent and let me scream and let me do whatever and just be the person that would gently encourage me, not tell me I'm doing too much. But just, and always encourage. But it's funny.
Change the narrative. I always just try to change the subject with y'all.
Yeah, but
because
I just feel like
out y'all head, right?
Yeah,
y'all so lost because you laser focused on something that you shouldn't be laser focused on. What you laser focused on ain't getting you no money. So why are you focused on it, right?
I just leave. I used to just go home. You remember I go home every day. Every day.
But now you don't paid bar fee, and you don't pay to leave early, and now you mad, and then you got to come back. You just did 3 things that are totally counterproductive to what you're trying to do, which is get to the money.
But you know what, DC? I used to factor in my leave fee. I used to leave every day. I used to pay to leave every day just because I'm not going to be here at the end of the night when everything get crazy. I got to go.
But when you're younger and you get thrown in that environment, that's the Serengeti. You were lions and tigers and bears and hyenas and wild dogs, and you were impala. And they hungry, right? and they want dinner, period.
Right.
So it's the chase, right? It's a game. How much money can I get out this dude without having to give him some? How much money do I got to spend on this girl before she going to give me some? That's the game. And whoever plays it better is going to win. And
you see, a lot of people, they just giving it up now, and it's like it's nothing. They give it in. It's like
I'm
nothing.
not talking about them. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the game, right? That's the game when somebody dances you.
Okay.
And then you get a repeat customer. That's the game. Okay.
I was
scared of them. How am I going to play this?
I was scared of people coming back.
Yeah, how am I going to play this? How am I going to do this? How's he going to do this? And then he's thinking, okay, how much money I got to spend a night? I really ain't getting nowhere. She ain't gave me her number yet. Like you got these battle of wills. You got these battle of wills going, right? And it's camouflaged in whatever, right? But but when it's at its best, it's gentlemen being entertained, and it becomes a daydream and a fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get to take yourself away and you get to be with a beautiful woman and they're dancing for you, and it's a fantasy. And that's the simplest form of it, right? Yeah. But, it's not that anymore, right? Think about it. Back in the day, it used to be just a woman in front of you shaking her butt and her butt jiggling all over the place. You're just like, man, that's pretty cool. Right. But now it's like, okay, I need that butt on me. I want my arm around her. I'm going to be lying. I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try to do that and this and that. It's like, and it's not because everybody started giving it up for free. It's because, people change, man. It
was no more mystery. Like when everybody started putting it online.
But see, that's the change.
Yeah, that was the change.
It was never gonna stay that way. Right. It didn't stay that way in '89. It didn't stay that way. The Garter Belt didn't stay that way. The night Easy had the party after the club. That was the first time I ever seen anybody throw money. That's in 1991. And he threw 20s, all because 2 girls got on stage and started doing a nasty dance, but didn't touch each other. You would have loved that because they were freaking and did not touch each other. And it was so sensual that every girl, Charles Walker had closed the club early. Every girl in there, everybody was turned on because it was such a sensual dance. They threw all the ice on the champagne buckets on them. Then they got wet. And then they threw all the ones. Then he just pulled his pocket and started throwing 20s. And when all the girls seen that, that was the first night. That was the first night I saw Making It Rain. That's when it started in 91. And that was the first night that all the girls who might have been gay came out the closet. And then from there on out, girls was trying to do that on stage to get everybody to throw ones at them. And that's you see what I'm saying? We can get it. We can go all night. We go all night because I get it. It's 30 years of history. You know what I'm saying? And it is not. It has changed every year, and you have to adapt to it. And it's not like that's something you do for a long time, right? You get in, you get out, and you think about it. There's people now. There's girls now can't even walk in heels 20 yards. Where they break their ankles. It's like, you see the movie Graduation, they got to wear heels one time. That's how a lot of dancers are now. Their feet be hurting 5 minutes after they put on heels because they just can't do it no more. Like that's a thing you do when you're young, but unfortunately, we see a lot of girls now doing that in their 50s, right? Yeah. Like there's girls in their 50s dancing. Like I can't imagine that means you start dancing like 90 and 80, right? And you still doing the same thing. And that, and the tragedy always of stripping is that, people are not, financially, fiscally responsible.
Right.
I always had so many streams of income, but I did my own bookkeeping. I had a corporation. I paid myself. All my check went into my IRAs and filled up my little buckets and investment accounts and stuff like that. And I try to teach the people, but it takes discipline to do that.
Yes, it
you
does.
have to throw the money away and can't touch it. You got to throw away the money and don't think about it. And you can never put yourself in a position where think about how much money you was making, but you was always behind on bills, right? Mm-hmm. This girl's making $1,000 a night and still behind on bills.
Not me.
Right? Still can't pay, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you understand exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
And if you have a bad night or a bad week, that's a monkey wrench. Or people wasn't factoring in when the playoffs start, it slows down.
Yeah.
And then now you done depleted your little stash, and now you got to make up for that. That's when people start getting hysterical. And then they get good again, but now you behind, and you trying to pay your bills that you was trying to, you should have had for the last 3 months.
Right.
Or you should have even been spending money like that. Or you should, you only live once, I get it. But it comes a time where, it ain't cute no more to do those things. And it requires very little, you know what I mean? And I try to teach people, and a couple girls got it, right? Mm-hmm. And their lives are better for it. If you can teach one person, it's worth it. Because that's one person that took your lead and ran with it, and you see the fruits of your labor. And that's all I've ever tried to do is just help people. So, and that's all I still try to do. The whole reason I'm doing this is so I can tell people the things that I wish somebody had told me when I was young. Mm-hmm. Right?
What are you doing? What do you mean? How are you doing that?
I do 5 podcasts a day.
Okay.
Right? I do motivational speaking. I got booked for a job, didn't even take it because I'm not ready to just run out there in COVID. We got a show in a couple of weeks. I'm ready to do that. But motivational speaking, that takes a little more preparation. Mm-hmm. Right? You do it through this Geico commercial. Right? Because everybody loves the Geico commercial. I tell you, I've done the first one I did this morning was the fish in Atlanta, and they're Christian oriented, and I was just online and they had a cool little joke about the Pope, right? And I related because I'm Catholic like they are, and I was like, that's a good one right there. I like that. Shouts out, because it was about our commercial. And it was like, shouts out, man. I appreciate that. And it was like, hey, what are you doing now? You want to get on? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, set up a time, we'll do a date. And it was like, they gave me the number. I called in and we went 25 minutes and I could see both of them mouth wide open on the other side because I spit the game to them so cold-blooded. Because people be thinking that I'm going to talk about strip clubs. They're going to talk about tour bus escapades. I'll be putting them on game. I'll be like, yo, and I tie it all into my experience and what I've done. So it's more interesting because I can talk about how Womb There It Is came about, but then I could flip it and go into something else and a lesson that I learned from it that leads me to today. And it all ties in, right? So the second one I had one or two. That was a cat who, it was a talk, radio talk, just a talk show where he just sits there and talks. And he had me on there and he didn't know what it was going to be, but it blew him away because he's like, you have inspired me. I mean, they just want to talk about the commercial, but then I get to spit in that game on them. And it's like, I can do anything. When they leave they be like, I can do anything, right? Yeah. And I know they got listeners. So if I know they got 100,000 listeners, somebody's listening and somebody's like, yo. Yeah. And you never know who's listening. That's why you do them. And you never know, 2 years from now, you might be the biggest podcast on earth. And because I was here, you remember that. You're going to remember when I'm there, right? It's what acting coach told me this. It's like, if you get invited to a party, what are you going to bring? You're going to bring a bottle of wine. You're going to bring some cheese and crackers. You're going to bring some cold cuts. What you going to bring? I'm like, I know what I'm going to bring. I'm going to bring the DJ equipment. I'm going to DJ. I'm going to bring a jungle gym for the kids. I'm going to bring an ice sculpture. And I'm going to bring whatever I need to bring because you're going to remember I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to be talking about the fact that I was here, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I go back to, you got to let people see you hustle. Everybody, there's millions of Americans. And if somebody in Rhode Island can see that I did a podcast, it's like, whoa, I want him on my podcast. At least I got every day I got 2 or 3 podcasts. Could have more, but sometimes it's too much because I'm doing other stuff. I just got to audition for Walking Dead. Now I got to start working on that right now.
Okay.
That's probably why I forgot, because I was so excited about getting the Walking Dead audition. I was like, yeah, I can't wait to do Sayuri tomorrow. I was about to go in there and make a post about tomorrow. And it's tonight. That's how discombobulated it gets, right? Because I'm putting in work. But the reason all this happened is because I was looking for a publicist for the Geico. I knew it was going to be big, and I wanted to take advantage of it. But they were like, well, we don't know if we could do anything for you because it's a pandemic and it's just a Geico commercial. And I was like, we don't want to spend your money. I was like, okay, cool. And every time that happens, I go join an organization, and I joined the Public Relations Society of America. Every organization, you got a full of professionals that have been in the game 20, 30, 40 years. 2 days in, I get on a podcast because I got a press release ready, but I didn't know when to drop it. And there's the CEO of this PR firm. And she's like, I'm like, raise my hand in the Zoom. And I'm like, our press releases are, important right now? Are they still viable? And she was like, well, what's it for? I was like, well, I'm kind of featured in this Geico commercial called Scoop, There It Is. And then I'm looking at the chat and it's like, what? Wait a minute. No. That's my favorite commercial. That's my kids' commercial. We dance it all the time. And then the chat blew up, right?
Yeah.
And the moderator is like, oh my gosh, it is him. And it's like, we'd like to welcome DC to the organization. And we're going to talk about that Geico commercial afterward. But back to his question. And the CEO is like, heck yeah, it's relevant, because right now, everything was about COVID. Everything was sad. There was everybody had depleted all their content because nobody was going out to make new content. So people were looking for anything that makes them feel good with all the crap that was going on outside, that we had to look at every day. So, but I knew all this, right? I just wanted the validation, right? I wanted them to say it to me.
Okay.
Right. So I dropped that press release. Actually, she was like, press release is good. And then you want to do this. You want to go here for get in front of the journalists. You want to go here for all the podcasts. You want to go here for this. You want your pitches to be like this. They gave me the game in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I've never looked back. All because I joined the organization. I thought outside of the box. You got to learn how to learn. People don't understand that there's way more ways to learn than just one way. Like if I get a long email, I don't feel like read it, I throw it in the AI and it reads it to me while I'm still doing what I do. So I actually get more out of it with the AI reading to me. And then I might even read along with it and get even more and retain even more information, right? So it just depends. It's like certain times you're not going to feel like doing this. But like I could take this podcast, dump it into AI, gives me a transcript on paper. Then I could take that transcript, make a blog post out of it. Then I could take that blog post, cut it up in 4 pieces, and use that as a profile in LinkedIn. You see what I'm saying? And switch it up. Yeah. It's about, that's the hustle. You got to learn how to learn. So I've hit the ground running and ain't looked back. I dropped that press release 3 days before the Super Bowl. The next day we was on the Dan Patrick show. They called us like, we got to have them tomorrow. A week later, we was on Tamron Hall. Right now I'm working on Ellen, Good Morning America, Kathy and Ryan. I'm working on anybody that want to have me. I just can't get to it, right? Because I'm so busy. So I've learned how to be my own PR firm in weeks. Wow. Because I think different. And I'm a hustler. That's that thing, 6 hustles in the hole. Yeah. You got to have them in the hole. Everybody's like, are you happy you got a Geico commercial? I was happy back in September for 2 days. Then I knew it was time to go to work. Yeah. Right. Like, this don't happen. If I don't put in work, if I don't put in work, this don't happen. You see what I'm saying? If I don't put in work, this don't happen. Spin a scoop, right? That don't happen if I don't put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I started preparing for this thing, and I had 6 or 7 scenarios. I said, I want to spin a scoop. I want to do sprinkles. I want to do this, that. Went to the director. Director's like, anything you want to do, DC. And all those parts are the best parts of the commercial because I put in the work. You see what I'm saying? Preparation. Yeah. So it's like you can't nobody tell me nothing when it comes to just hustle, because I'm gonna do it different, period. And that's why I do so many podcasts, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. Now it's a whole new frontier. It don't cost a lot of money. It just takes thinking different, right? It just takes thinking different. And I use so many analogies that go back to the club. All these situations are the same. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to crack a dude. You know he got money. So how you gonna crack? How you gonna crack it? How you gonna think differently? What you gonna do? Right? Sometimes you gotta do something that might not even get you nothing, but he remembers it, and the next time he comes in, he breaks you off.
Correct.
And then after that, he just breaks you off, and you don't even gotta dance just because you did something that you shouldn't have done out of the kindness of your heart. Yeah. It's things like that people can't do because they just can't take it. I ain't about to do that for that motherfucker. Nah. You give what you want first, right? Yeah. And it comes back to you, but it can never be quid pro quo. I do this for you, you do this for me. You just do it and you keep it moving. And it's gonna come back to you. It's gonna come back to you. And
it's so crazy, DC, that like it's so many things that I know I got from the club, but it's like, you know, for me, it's in my own head. But to hear you talk like this, I'm like, it's just very validating.
Hey man, every lesson you learn from that club, you can apply to your life.
Yes.
Flip it and turn it into something. That's why I say you got to turn it into something positive.
Yeah.
You turn all them terrible experiences of you melting down, all that, you turn it into positive and you use it. Like, it's a perfect example. If this audition calls for me to be sad, I got experiences where I can just go right to it and be sad.
Yeah.
I held it and now I get to use it and release it. Or being mad, I held it, now I get to use it. I might be cutting the grass. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna let this pissed off get out of me while I'm cutting this grass, or I'm chopping wood, or in the gym, whatever. Yeah. But you don't react to it right then and there. You hold it, put it in your pocket, and then it never seemed as bad as it was. But you don't hold it in just out of spite. You hold it in to release it at another time. Because
that's good. That's good. That's what that's what I needed to hear. I needed that. That's what I needed.
If you do that, if you could just do that once or twice, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because
I do know, but I mean, it just takes self-control. But it'd
be pride too. It'd be pride too. It'd be all the stigmas of doing something like that. Because sometimes you might have to just back off. But if somebody does you dirty and you back off and you put it in your pocket, you know, you use it to get back to the day where y'all standing face to face. And they got to look you in your eye, and you don't come up, and they acting like nothing ever happened. But you look at them dead in the eye, and you see it.
Yeah.
Look in their eye, and you can see them thinking, dang, I did him dirty. And and that is the greatest feeling, period. And I'm blessed enough to see it. And I don't try to do that, but I'm blessed enough to see it often, right? Because your hate only makes me stronger. You don't understand that. I know how to channel that into something positive, right?
That's a skill.
I'm gonna be pissed off inside for sure, but
that's a skill.
You're not gonna see me. I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction. That's all trolling is on the internet.
Yeah.
People be trying to, dog you on the internet, and then if you react, you done already lost.
Right.
If you don't even respond, you won. And they on the other side like, dang, they didn't even respond.
Right.
Man. Am I losing it? Let me go try to do somebody else, right? Like, I mean.
So wait, DC. So you said you in The Walking Dead. What other movie you in? You coming in some more movies too?
No, that's an audition, Walking Dead. But I did My Corona movie about life in Corona. Did that in April. I did a movie, Mediator, that did in August. Then the Geico commercial. Tyler Perry voiceover for House of Pain. And then a couple weeks ago, I was on second season of Lauren London's show.
Oh wow!
What's the name of that show? That's bad. Not Games People Play. Yeah, Games People Play, season 2, right? And I did well, and they're gonna bring me back, right? So you just start building these, and I've only been active since 2017. because I put in that work and I know
I remember
how to,
you was talking about this so long ago, DC. You was talking about this for so long.
You know, I've always wanted to act, but I just never knew how to do it. And I started with voiceover. So now I'm making an animation now. I'm trying to do anime. I'm trying to do all that stuff, and I'm booking. So, and it's like everything is coming because I stay positive and I keep throwing it out there. I stay on offense. I don't worry about it coming back to me. You know what I mean? I've laid so many seeds, right?
Yeah.
I've laid so many seeds, and you know, they've grown, and now I'm standing in a forest of opportunity, right? And it's like I'm standing with big redwood trees. Like it came back to me in this way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people talk about this, the greatest Geico commercial of all time, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'm gonna let them say it. Keep on saying it. Keep on saying it in tweets every day because that's what it means to them, right? And if all I gotta do is say thank you, and it makes their day, and then they retweet back, he said thank you to me, and then they tell their friends, and then their friends like, I want to thank you, and then their friends just tweet me, and then I thank them, and then now I got all that whole little clique thanking each other back and forth, and everybody's seeing that, it blows up. You spread. That's engagement. Everybody's looking for likes. It ain't about likes. It's about engagement. It's about touching people, right?
Yeah.
When I do these podcasts, I know I'm touching people. I don't touch somebody tonight.
Yeah.
We don't put somebody on game who might have been a little confused or might have wanted to know something. Like cats come up to me all the time. DC, put me in the game. How can I be? I want to be in the industry. I'm like, all right. You know, it ain't gonna be easy. I said, look, give me your email address. I got. Here's how we gonna do it. I got a file. It's got a book in it. If you don't want to read or can't read, there's a video in it. Same thing. I said, finish that. Hit me up. I can tell you, 99% of people don't do it.
Man, look, don't get me started.
One who did. He's a Afghanistan veteran. He did it and was like, man, dude. He's like, I know this part I don't understand. I was like, cool. We can have a conversation about it because I know you put in the work, right? And once we had a conversation, I schooled him all the way. I said, dude, now the reason I did that because that's the most important book for you. Because now nobody will ever be able to take advantage of you in this music game. I gave you the whole game right here, right? And I be trying to give everybody the game, and they don't see that I'm giving them the game, right? Yeah. They be like, go to the club, pay the DJ, do this, and perform everywhere. Nah, that ain't how you gonna make it. You gotta make it by understanding the industry first, understanding how you make your money. Then you realize you don't have to make your money like everybody else makes their money because it's about music publishing. It's about owning your rights. If you'll never be able to take advantage of somebody like, okay, you got to give us 75%. It's like, all right, I appreciate it. I'll holler at you. Because somebody takes 75%. But that's what happens. There's dudes that take 100% and then don't do nothing for the artist and they just be up under their thumb. They have a local hit. They have a local hit. Everybody in the clubs like it, but it don't go national because the dudes that sign them can't do nothing for them anyway, right? So they get all their rights. Now the dudes is bitter. They can't really go back and sue them because they signed a messed up contract.
Right.
So I do this because I'm the guinea pig. I went through this, right? But instead of crying over spilled milk, I knew I had a forever hit record. I still got Boom. I'm still DC the Brain Supreme, and I still got Boom. There it is. So I'm going. What I say. If they don't get paid, I don't get paid, and I promise you, I'm period. I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna get money. How? So I'm always working on ways there it is to get me money because it's a forever hit record.
It is.
I'm not worried about what I went through. That made me stronger. Me going through all that legal stuff made me a paralegal. I mean, it's how you look at it. It's how you make it work for you.
For you, right?
You take a negative and turn it to a positive. Now I know more legally. I could really go take the bar and pass it. It probably take me 2-3 times, but I can pass it. Okay. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what to do. I know how lawyers work. I know the game. Right. Yeah. But I know the most important part of the game is what you do at first. Right. So I try to give everybody a heads up because that's what I wish somebody had did for me.
Wow.
As a young man. And that's my mission. That's my mission. And that's my responsibility.
Man. You really blessed me. You really have. I mean, like today, but even before then, like every day when I used to come to work and I used to be like, I wonder if he gonna be the DJ today because I didn't really understand how it worked, for the first whatever. Because I didn't know I thought it was a dance contest. But anyway, and you was there every day, and I just kept seeing you. Like, you just blessed me just being there, just being how you are. I'm just grateful to know you. I'm grateful to have worked with you closely, and I just pray that you will continue to flourish and just do everything that you out here doing, and you blow up past what you. I mean, is it possible for you to blow up past?
Hey man.
Anyway,
we're going to see.
Yes, but I will be looking for you in these movies. Don't get too big now. Don't get too big.
Hey, I've never been. Hey, think about it. I've never changed.
No, you haven't.
I've never changed.
Because I called you on the phone, man. I seen you on the other. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I got a show.
Hey, my phone number been the same forever, right?
Yeah.
See, I talk to everybody. Like, I'm the same. And that's how you have peace in life. You stay the same.
Yeah.
I've never been a star. Never wanted to be a star. Still not a star now. Like, everybody. Hey, I could walk in anywhere. People ain't gonna know I'm the dude from the Geico commercial.
Right.
The last week was the first time I went to go to the pharmacy to get my pills, right? And because I'm getting old, right? So I had to go get my pills. And I had a Coke Zero there, and the pharmacy lady was like, "Okay, you ain't gotta pay for it. Your insurance." Like, "No, I want to get this Coke Zero." She's like, "Okay." So I slide my card, and it don't do nothing. She's like, "No. You gotta use the chip sprinkles." And I was like, "No, she didn't." Just call me Sprinkles. No, she did not call me Sprinkles.
Yes, she did.
She's like, "I don't care. Me and my daughter love you. We love that commercial. I've been knowing that for a minute. We love you." And I was like, wait, no,
wow.
I'm not tripping. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you, and I appreciate it. And it made my day. And don't think that it didn't. I'm just having fun with you. But I appreciate that because, you didn't blow me up. You did it cool, right? And, thank you. And I know it made her day because it ain't like I acted like a star. We had a good time with it, right?
Right.
It's like, tell your dollar I said, "What's up?" Right? Well, you want a t-shirt? What? I'm making t-shirts for his father and daughter now. Because he called me, he's like, "Man, I just want a t-shirt with my daughter, man." And I was like, "Cool. All right. We ain't got no, clothing line or nothing, but I could print you up something because, I'm a hustler. I can do that. I got heat and press and everything. So it's all good. I'll make them up a little something. And they're going to remember me forever for that. Right.
Yes.
Because I just took the time to make that nice gesture. And you just never know how you touch people. And every time you do that, the Lord blesses us.
Correct.
And it might not be in the way that people think you get blessed, but I know I've been blessed beyond anything I could have ever imagined and continue to get blessed. And I'm going to continue to be me because that's what I've always been. I don't know how to be anything else. You know what I mean? I'm going to be DC, the brain supreme.
Period. Tag team. Whoop, there it is.
It is. Sprinkles.
I
got to end it with Sprinkles now. Shoot,
I love you. I want to say I love you.
I love you too, baby. Because me and you've been going back and forth for years. And I've been trying to walk you off the cliff for a long time because we be having debates. We're like, "You can't think like that, man." "No, man, forget that." Blah blah. I was like, "You just can't think like that." Look at you. You all riled up and everything.
A whole meltdown. Like, oh my God.
You can't do that. It's not that serious. It's not. You cannot trip off of the things you cannot control.
My God.
I can only worry about what I can control, and I control what I do. And what I do is choose to get money. That's my focus. Period.
Me too.
Educate
educate
myself to get money so I can educate everybody else how to get money.
Yes.
That's it. Right. I gotta go, man.
About to say, I appreciate you so much.
Salute.
And thank y'all for tuning in. Next week we're gonna have some more people, another person, but I'm gonna let you go. Love you. Bye. Okay, so look, I just ended it.